All right, here we go. Welcome back, Olly. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for everybody that's listening and watching. A couple of interesting things to talk about today. Maybe if we start on the market. Now, I know you're out there giving guidance and helping a few people that are active, so let's talk about that. What are you seeing? We'll compare notes.
Well, the media is saying that the market has started to improve, not falling as fast as before.
Yep.
But I've had a couple of examples of the market warming up, I hope. And one example, I went to with a client to an ordinary family home in the eastern suburbs, and usually they're just empty, there's nobody there, but this time it was swarming with people.
Yeah.
Seriously swarming with people. Whether they were tyre kickers or whether they were buyers, I don't know, but they were taking all the paperwork and looking around and spending a lot of time. And so, that's quite different from what it's been like in the last year.
And having your buying party there, friends or people that you're working with, they felt that difference, I guess, yeah?
Yes, I could tell the agent was holding his book and taking down notes. I could see quite a few names that people had registered their name, perhaps 6 or 7, which is unusual. Usually it's nothing.
Yeah.
You can see the cobwebs usually crying on it, but this is a good sign. And there was another big sale in the eastern suburbs, which I was indirectly involved with, a property on a corner site on Remuir Road. Went up for sale for auction, and the CV was 5 million, 5.1. The general idea was that it would be selling for 4.8ish, and it was a scramble. It went for 7.1, which was a startling figure. Nobody knows, and it was a fight for it. It was bought by a neighbour, so that's interesting. So that's a sign that there's money out there.
Certainly money out there. It's an interesting, I know the one you mean, it's an interesting site, great views.
100% views, yes.
If we had rolled back a little bit, it would have been below sort of CV, below indicator, and now in that example, well past.
It well passed, and a big surprise for everybody. Now it's revalued the whole of the eastern suburbs. Valuers will be out there scratching their heads and working out new numbers per square metre.
How many bidders left at the end? Were there two fighting it out?
Two fighting it out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know who the other one was, but I understand it was a family that bought it or nearby, or neighbours or something. I haven't got the details, but but it may make a magnificent development site, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it just shows you there's money out there looking for a home.
Yep. And look, we saw that on the weekend, something in the bays, very, very attractive, over 100 groups through.
There you go.
And price point substantial, and definitely people turning up and people showing interest in it. So, quite a good change in the market. Do you think that's buyer-driven, that buyers feel that there's some stability, that we're sitting at or very close to the bottom?
The feeling generally is that we're close to the bottom.
Yeah.
That interest rates shouldn't go much higher. Whoops, I'm starting to predict again. There may be a little bit left in the tank.
Yep.
But the general feeling is that this is about the end of interest rate rises, and people adjust their thinking. And the banks are loosening up a fraction, little bit. And they also know it's election time and that the government doesn't want any nasty surprises. So it's all adding up to that, and the weather's a little better today, thank goodness. So who knows? If the interest rates go up again, maybe it'll change.
It's almost seasonally, it's almost the opposite, isn't it? Our summer in Auckland was a disaster.
What summer?
Literally.
What summer?
Yeah, it was all rain and floods, and it was a disaster. And now we're having the weather that we wished we'd had back then.
I know.
And sitting at the bottom, and I think it would be fair to say that the banks now have taken into consideration of what they think is the top of the interest rate point. So even if that OCR has another nudge, I think the banks are probably about right, aren't they?
This is what we think at the moment, but unfortunately, always accidents happen and something goes wrong, and then the whole thing changes. And as we head into the political season, and people are coming up with things like capital gains tax and wealth tax, and that sort of garbage.
Yep.
How does a widow who's 80 years old in Ponsonby living by herself in a nice house that's worth a couple of million, but which she bought 30 years ago, supposed to find a wealth tax? I mean, come on. Yeah.
It's so political, isn't it? And I think John Keys came out during the week basically saying encourage people, don't penalise them. You know, these are the people leading the country.
Of course,
you know?
I know. When I was talking to Robertson, that's it, word association.
Yep.
I said to Chuckles, it's his pet name. I said, Chuckles, pinch his
Yeah, I can
cheek.
see that. Yep.
He laughs when you do that. He loves it. Such a pretty boy. Anyway, I was saying to him that, you've got to stop these interest rate rises, and he agreed. He looks at this program. He does. Oh, he does.
Listens into us.
Listens into us, yes. So we often go to his apartment and watch it.
He might send questions and we can give him guidance.
Sure.
Oh, this is probably where he's getting coaching, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
That's how he saves some money. He's getting his coaching here through you. I got it. Yes. I got it. So what do you think of the wealth tax and how's that going to land?
Well,
or do we just keep dodging it?
It won't land because nobody will pay it. What do you do to avoid a wealth tax is you just keep on borrowing so you don't have any equity left. You just borrow from your mother or your father on paper so you got $1.99 equity in something and they don't have to pay any tax because you don't have any equity. So, it'll be a fun.
We'll see how that one rolls out. The other thing we've got happening this week is we're going to find out... were we in recession? Are we going into recession? Technically, did we dip in, dip out? And I guess more so, does it even matter now?
Well, the figures are coming out in the next few days after this, our little talk here. And if it's down a little bit, a little bit less growth and more growth, it doesn't really matter. It's just numbers in the end. It's just the area of error. It has to be some major number for us to get frightened.
Yeah.
I don't think a point or two up or down really matters. A mild recession, a mild positive, doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I think whichever way, if it is that we had or having or will mild, then we'll go, doesn't really matter. We're probably on the other side of it, or it's so borderline. We can all feel the impact of it, retailers, and you mentioned that last time. Yes, the retailers feel that.
Retail has dropped quite a bit. There was quite a drop in retail sales. The turnover numbers were the same, but the amount of people spending is less. After all, they're spending money on interest and bills. We're told that inflation is 6.7% or something like that, but you and I know inflation is really 20% or 30%. You ask your better half to go shopping and see how much the goods cost. So
horrendous.
It's horrendously higher than 6.7, but that's the official rate. And we'll see what the inflation rate is now. But in America, I understand the United States, the inflation rate is coming down.
Okay.
That's what I heard lately. And so it may be coming down here too, but that's the idea.
But it also depends where you spend. Like I've saved a lot of money at the barber.
Oh, that's for sure.
Spending a fortune on shampoo. So, so on one side they're getting the money, the other guy reckons we're in recession.
I think you're affecting the whole market. By not going to your barber, your whole market's going to collapse because of you.
If I ever see my barber again, he'll charge me a fortune. Absolutely.
Right.
All right. I think those are good observations. We've got the data coming out. I don't think we're fazed by the data. I think you see the confidence that we're probably sitting at the bottom of the market, top of the interest rates. And you're seeing and I'm seeing the buyer activity come through. We had a couple of auctions Friday ago. And both, they were like a mirror image of each other. Both had 7 bidders on it.
There you go.
Well, it's been a long time since we've had that. Absolutely.
Usually the cobwebs are growing over the agents as they sat around waiting for the clients to turn up. They had cobwebs and grass growing through the wheels of their cars. And it's changed a little bit. But look, let's not get away. Let's not get carried away at this stage.
We went through a hard market when I was in Tauranga, and a competing agency had a property for sale opposite our house. So I watched this guy get out and set up his open home flag. I thought, I should try and recruit him. I'll go and say hi at a certain stage. And about 2 hours later, the open home's still running. I was like, geez, this is rude. He must have, and I haven't seen anybody go in. Talk about cobwebs. When I went over, the guy was asleep on the couch.
Yes, you can get in trouble for that.
So hopefully we haven't got that ahead of us. Now, we promised we'd talk about commercial.
Well, let's not get too detailed. Let's talk about personal guarantees.
Okay.
As applies to generally, and it applies to commercial property. A personal guarantee or PG, or PG-S, personal guarantees. If you go to, in a general sense, if you go to your bank and get a mortgage and you put your name in it, that's a personal guarantee. And that means that you are personally liable for the debt. So some people think they can put it the name of a company, ABC Limited. Limited being limited liability, meaning that only the assets of the company can be used to pay back the debt. So the banks will not lend money to ABC Limited, if that's what you want to do. They want a personal guarantee which goes around that. So personal guarantees can be a big bite. Now, if 2 or 3 of you are buying a property, wife, husband, uncle, anybody, the bank might want personal guarantees from all of you. Now, that's a bit over the top. So you can negotiate with the bank and say, look, there's 3 of us signing up for this. We only want to be liable for a third each, not what they call jointly and severally.
I was going to raise that.
If you leave it as it is, the bank can choose any one of the 3 of you for you and go either one of the one who's got the most money. But by limiting it, then that's a good start. Just try it and see what can happen.
Because most people don't realise that. Say there's 2 names in there on the guarantee, one falls over, one's bankrupt, one can't do it. The bank just goes, sorry, sunshine, you're 100% of it. We'll take it all off you.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So try that out and see how you get. It depends how good your bank is or how smart your lawyer is. A mortgage that doesn't have a personal guarantee is called a non-recourse mortgage. So you can try that. Whereas using the word non-recourse, it's just you can slip it in somewhere and say the bank finds it. They can't get at you see. Now, when it comes to commercial property, a PG or personal guarantee is of vital importance because vast majority of commercial property shops, offices, factories are leased to companies, ABC Limited, XYZ Limited. Now, if you're looking at a lease of a commercial property and it's to a company called ABC Limited, you know that if that company doesn't pay its rent, you've only got the company to fall back on. You can only sue the company, which may have no assets anyway. So you want to see a personal guarantee from the directors. If it's not there, that's a bit of a worry, and it matters a lot. So you want to know why. I mean, if it's a big company like Fletcher's or something, you won't get the personal guarantees of the Fletcher's. But for your average dairy and panel beater and so on, you want to see a personal guarantee. It makes a difference of 30 or 40% value. A property that may be worth $2 million without a personal guarantee for the rent may only be worth 1.5 because there's risk involved.
Risk on your yield. You're saying, hey, look, you can never call it up.
You can never call it up. So the trick, if you want to make some money out of a commercial property, if you come across a commercial property that has a lease without a personal guarantee, you go and have a talk to the tenant and say, why haven't you got a personal guarantee? Many times nobody thought of it. So they're going to sign a personal guarantee just to be nice to you, and suddenly you've got a better deal.
Brilliant. A better asset.
And don't
protection there on your asset.
Don't let them reverse it. Don't let a tenant come along to you and say, this is commercial. I'll renew the lease, but I want to take my personal guarantee out. No. You want that personal guarantee.
So is the landlord...
Hang on a minute. Another person after me. There we go. One of my creditors again.
So I'll jump back in. So as the landlord, you're insuring, your advice ensure that you've got a PG sitting on it.
That's right.
Yep. So you've got somebody to follow up if ABC Limited failed to perform. What's the caution and what advice do you give to the tenant, the person signing the lease? What do they need to be aware of when they sign the personal guarantee?
Finish off the landlord side.
Okay.
You check that it's got a personal guarantee with the lease, and it's all very well having a personal guarantee, but you want to know, what does this personal guarantee mean? So when you're buying a place or reviewing the rent in a commercial property, not only do you want to see a personal guarantee, you ask the tenant to put down a statement of position.
Yep.
So that you can see that the personal guarantee has got some powder and shot. So they put down their house and their car and so on, and you want to find out whose name is the house in, whose name are their assets in. You can ask for all that. And so you can see whether the person, I mean, it's no use if the tenant is broke anyway, personally or come. So if the tenant has broke himself and the personal guarantee isn't worth anything, but it's better than a poke in the eye.
Yep.
So anyway, get back to your question.
Okay, and then advice, the person renting out the factory, what do they need to be aware of? Because they're going to sign the personal guarantee, and they may well just sign it without even realising.
Yes, well, if you're a tenant going into a commercial property and you're asked for a personal guarantee, well, yeah, you should give it, but you may want to limit it. You may limit it to 6 months rent, or 3 months rent, or 12 months rent. You may sign a lease that's 5 years long. You don't want to guarantee that's 5 years because the landlord could theoretically keep charging you rent even if you can't pay it the next 5 years. So you want to limit to the 6 months or 12 months rent if your personal guarantee is called upon. See? You didn't know that, did you?
There we go. Actually, I'll tell you a smart one I saw. I don't know who it was smart for. Was instead of the personal guarantee, there was a bond.
Oh, yes.
And that related to X amount of weeks of rent. So the landlord learned, hey, look, that would cover us until we got the next person.
It gets even better than that. It gets even better than that.
Okay.
Not only can you ask the tenant for a bond, there's no limitation, by the way. This is not a residential property.
Not residential.
You can charge a bond wherever you like. And with a bit of luck, the tenant forgot he paid it. And you go buy yourself 3 cars or something. But you can ask for a bank guarantee.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen those for a while.
Oh, yeah, well, you can. If a tenant has been in business a while, the bank knows more about his business than you'll ever know.
Yep.
And so you can go to the tenant's bank in a commercial property and ask for the bank to guarantee the rent.
Yep.
And they do if they are satisfied because they look at the business far more detail than you can. The bank may give you a 6 months, 12 months, 2 year or endless guarantee that they will pay the rent if the tenant fails. Now you get a gold-plated guarantee like that from a bank. Well, that makes the building and the lease worth much more.
Then
so the same building, the same rent, the building can double in value because of the guarantee. That means that your rent is guaranteed.
Interesting.
People will pay more for that building. The yield goes down. You follow me?
Yeah. So now when we're buying, very important, you're looking, how strong is the PG?
That's right.
What are the assets behind it and the ownership of the assets?
Now, of course, when you're talking residential, a personal guarantee is almost inevitably anyway, because the tenant usually takes the house in his own name. Her name. But sometimes it goes in the name of a company, so the same applies. Sometimes it goes in the name of a company. Then, of course, there's trusts. And that's a complicated thing you need to talk to account because trusts, again, are a shield. We don't want to go into that. Too complicated. But it's an interesting subject. Personal guarantees can be a big, big headache for and against any commercial, even residential property. And it can bite you on the bum real hard if you've given personal guarantees and you forget about them. Because we mentioned before, the personal guarantee can, if the bank uses the personal guarantee, it can chase you to the ends of the earth to get money out of you, no matter where you've hidden it, for your furniture, your house, your roof, your car, everything. So think about it before you willy-nilly give personal guarantees away. And try to limit it if you can.
Yep. Great advice. All right, there we go. So we've done what's happening in the market now. We've spoken a little bit about sort of where the market sits and also what may be coming up, GDP. And then we've gone into commercial. Very, very interesting. And I think if we can tip in that commercial bit each time, with residential coming in maybe first, then that's really valuable. Yeah, well, Grant must be loving this.
Robertson, that's right. Yeah, he likes it. I'm sure he's been bothering me quite a bit lately because it's getting that time of year, and Chris is coming in too, and Shiny Top, he's coming in as well. So it's very interesting dealing with
Chris and Chris. We could have them in here. The table's big enough now. James has done a great job. Look at us.
I don't think they could keep up. I don't think I could keep up.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. Well, if they came in, what are we going to be? Are we dressed in T-shirts or are we in suit and a tie? How did we muck it up today?
Don't you know, this is a suit, S-U-I-T. I've not seen one before. It's called a tie. I know it's new for you, but stay with me, boy, stay with me.
I can't even get a tie on at auctions now.
Why not?
No, it just doesn't work.
Oh, well, this tire cost me a fortune. I bought it in Japan without realising that yen, 10 million yen, is still a lot of money.
All right, there we go. We'll wrap it up on that. And we'll do the exchange rates next time. So if you're shopping in Asia, you're safe. We'll bring some expertise in.
Or Russia. Or Pakistan.
Oh, no, please. All right. Thank you, Olly. Really appreciate it. Really enjoy your time and appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you.